Is he an artist anymore, or is he just a brand?
Well, he
Tell me one thing, Usmani Saab, in all honesty and with your vast experience and interaction with his work, the work that we have here, which is his homage to Picasso #2, do you think this work is really of that irrefutable quality and mastery that you see earlier in his work?
I would say that the earlier works were much better. Too heavy paint used here.
Without any of the depth and texture that you see in his earlier pointillist work.
So complex, the work, so much more complex. There is a feeling of deja vu. I mean, how much can you be inspired by Picasso and not paint or take up certain elements of Picasso? And that's why I feel an artist who has painted since the 50s, why does he need to come back to Picasso and look at it as, and look at it almost like an aesthetic crutch? Why does he need to come back? You know, this is a question I think we all keep asking ourselves.
He was very much influenced when he went to Spain and saw his paintings. One of the museums has the huge painting, Guernica. And this feeling was very strong, so he came back and started painting like this in homage to Picasso.
The Guernica is a painting of huge depth and magnitude and almost electric, sort of articulation of what it's trying to say. In fact, the Guernica has been shot at when it was first unveiled in the Queen Sofia Museum and now has a bulletproof glass in front of it. Here we are just fumbling, trying to put the limbs together and the breasts together and trying to make a face out from a dove and a dove from an eye. And
yeah, there's a context to Guernica, obviously, and it is the artist's response to that carnage.
Yeah, the Spanish Civil War.
Yeah, and now what we see here, if an artist is influenced by it and then brings elements of it into his work, like what we see around us, I think there is a disconnect somewhere, because this particular artist, we are discussing Jameel Naksh today, is obviously the context is different. For him, it's a formal exercise. He's creating a painting as an optical response to Guernica. He's not looking at the content, but at the form. And I think that is where he loses a great deal of that connection, because it's the form, and how can you replicate a form without understanding what went into it when it was conceived? If you look at Picasso's entire body of work, one thing you do see is that he's very emotionally, his response is very emotional.
And very visceral.
But his work has a narrative. A lot of it has a narrative.
Well, Jameel's work has never had a narrative.
That's what I'm saying. Jameel works never had a narrative, but Picasso...
Dismiss other efforts.
Of
that
course
he has
not.
made.
We started this show on the premise that here we're talking about one of the greatest artists, the only artist to whom we have dedicated an entire episode, the other one only being Sadequain. Yeah. Of course, I mean, we are still under his shadow, but on that front, he lost the plot. Something that is clearly, and it shouts out at you. He has ceased to explore the form of the nude and the dove, and he is adorning canvas with what will surely fetch millions of rupees.
I think also the spirit of Picasso is missing here. You know, when you talk about his homage to Picasso, obviously you're not going to look at the elements, transposed from his canvas, but you also look at the spirit of Picasso. Picasso became a giant among his peers because he reinvented himself. His inventiveness, his inquiry was,
But I think it's important also to recognize that when Picasso produced his work along with Braque and various others, that it was an immense departure for his time.
But remember one thing, Nasreen.
An immense departure, that he deconstructed formal images and had almost a language and a vocabulary with those deconstructed forms.
Has he taken that deconstructive mode any further in a painting that is right in front of us?
And that's the important thing. He's tried.
He's been painting since the early 50s.
That's fair enough.
He is one of the most expensive Pakistani artists, and he's still fumbling.
But I think we mustn't be so harsh.
The point is not to be harsh.
The point is to,
man. You see, the
simply
point
because he has found, sadly for us, a new market abroad.
If he knows the market and he's also a marketeer, what is wrong with that?
Nothing. But the thing is that Jameel Naqsh professes that हर canvas उनकी बेटी होता है और वो किस घर जाए उनको उसकी खबर भी होती है और फिक्र भी होती है. But then you agree to the fact that you have actually become a brand. I mean, come on, the lie of the land must
I
at
think you
least become
resent the
some.
fact that you feel that he is his own PR agent, so he is judge, jury and critic. Thank you.
No, but the thing
Why
is,
do you resent that?
I don't resent that. You see, art has always had a price tag, and most of the, some of the most important aesthetic enterprises in the world would not have come to pass were it not for the money. Would the Sistine Chapel ceiling have been painted? Picasso was a millionaire at 40. Did that affect his work? No.